Hello and welcome to an all new episode of Who Gave This Girl a Mic. It is the first episode of February. I'm so excited to share this episode with you because, like I had mentioned before, every first episode of the month, I'm going to be joined by none other than the amazing Ruby. So, hello, Ruby. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited again, as always.
And it's not even me having you on anymore. This is your platform now. Like every first of the month is your platform. We are aiming for 12 episodes this year, staying consistent, manifesting it now. How are you doing?
Let's do it. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We are both um, excited, ready to take on this new month. January, I know a lot of people say January dragged. For me, I feel like it flew by.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, but I stayed busy on Saturday. Saturday on in January. I feel like I was making a lot of moves in every aspect. So, I mean, I would just want to keep that. I have this momentum that I just want to keep going.
I agree because I saw a few memes that were saying, like, is it January 79th? I'm like, whoa, it's already like mortgage time. It's already the end of January.
Yeah, exactly. Or people saying like January was a trial run, let's start again, like really speaking down on January. And maybe that was the case for other people. And if that was the case for you and you're listening right now, February is a new beginning. Don't throw the whole year away just because January didn't pan out or start off the way you wanted it to. You're literally that was just 1 out of 12. We are on 2 out of 12 right now, making the most of it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for this new episode, this new month. Let's manifest all good vibes for February. It's my birthday month too. I turned 30.
Hey, and
Woo-hoo.
also energetically speaking, I don't know a lot about astrology, but I do follow it a lot. On the
Uh-huh.
surface level of it, it's saying that I don't know for how long, maybe a few weeks or just this month, but there is going to be no planets in retrograde. You know how when retrograde happens, it's like, oh, these tough lessons. So astrology says that February has no planets in retrograde, meaning get the shit done. There's nothing in the way besides ourselves.
You're being a dick. Or shit is not going right. You cannot blame the fucking planets.
That's true. I didn't think about that part of it. Oh,
Not
I can't wait for that comeback.
because people always say it's because Mercury, I think Mercury's in retrograde. It's because Mercury's in retrograde. No, that's not the case for February.
Yeah. Not February.
Not me calling people out before it even happened.
You're like, hey, and hey,
Yeah.
put it out there. Let them know there's no excuses this month.
I like that though. I didn't even know that was like a monthly thing that happened. I don't even know what retrograde even means or retrograde or retrograde even means, but the fact that February doesn't have that and it's Aquarius season, that just comes to show you that we're the best.
The queen is here. It is your
Yeah.
numerology year as well. Remember, you're a 8 numerology. So,
Yes.
girl, it's February. You better, Edgar, que se quede on the sideline just this month because it's the queen's time.
I love that. Finally, my time to shine.
Oh, God, did I know? Just kidding. I'm like, I already know you.
All right. So, do you have our quote for the day, Ruby? I want to hear it. I'm excited.
I
Take it from here.
do. The quote of the day. This one is a new one. Alan Watts. He is an American philosopher, kind of like life coach, spiritual guru, just consciousness, really aware of a lot of stuff. And he has a lot of cool YouTube videos that you can actually listen to. So this one says the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, join the dance.
Oh, I
And
love
in
it.
alignment of what we're talking about, like join the dance. There's no shit happening. Shake it up.
Love that. Say it one more time.
Yeah. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, join the dance. Alan Watts.
I love that. I love that. I think that is so fitting, and that is something that everyone needs to just take a moment and soak in. It can relate to so many aspects of your life in any, financially, at
Yeah.
work, professionally, personally, emotionally.
Mhm.
If you're going through changes right now, instead of trying to make sense of it, fight it, or, feel some type of way about it, just join it and go with it and just let, I guess I was going to say let nature take its course, but just let shit flow. Just let
Yeah.
it
Let it flow. Yeah, I agree because I mean, change is so inevitable, but yet to us, it's so hard. I mean, even for me this year when I cut my hair short because I had to, my split ends were so bad and it's like it wasn't going to grow more unless I chopped it off. And when I
Yeah.
chopped it off, what did I do? The first thing I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, un niño. No, that's just my limited belief, because I've
Yeah.
never had short hair. My dad used to dislike short hair. He would always be like, las mujeres con el pelo largo. So when I did
Oh.
the cut at 29, I think my bones like felt that. And after it was just like getting rid of that change, me, accepting this new version of how I'm physically
Mhm.
looking. And I love it. I love it now. Like I kind of grew to it. And of course, I like that it also helped my hair get healthier. But yeah,
Yeah.
change is so difficult. And I shared this on Instagram a few weeks ago about shame.
Mhm.
That shameful energy that kind of comes in play with change. And then also maybe even like that imposter syndrome that society kind of calls it because it's so
Yeah.
true. For example, what I said, I was like, who I was in high school, I am a completely person of who I am now. But I'm going to
Mhm.
get vulnerable with you guys. It did take some time of embracing this new version of me because como que te daba vergüenza no ser who you were before, like, oh, am I being a
Yeah.
little punk now? Because in high school, I would clap back to anyone. And now I'm just like, you know what? No, maybe we don't need to clap back. So then my ego was just kind of like, me estoy dejando o qué está pasando. And that's
Mm.
where maybe that imposter syndrome comes into where it's only we're doing it to ourselves, like only I knew that I liked feeling this better way. But
Mhm.
maybe that imposter syndrome was kind of like, well, who are you to change and be all lovey dovey when you used to be, not so lovey dovey?
Yes, and I like that you mentioned that it feels wrong because people tend to connect change with something being wrong in when in fact they're not one and the same. They don't go together. I mean, sometimes because change can feel so wrong, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. You
Yeah.
know, it's different. It's
Yes.
different. It's unfamiliar. It's intimidating, scary,
Mhm.
and because people associate it immediately with being wrong, it makes it automatically something that's bad, that's completely shameful. Or,
Mhm.
just like you said, cutting your hair, you felt like you felt it in your bones and you felt like that was wrong. That's just because it was something different. It doesn't necessarily, once you change your outlook of it, your perspective on it, um it literally opens up a whole other room or environment for you to kind of thrive.
Yeah, really, to thrive and embrace that like new version of yourself. And I really believe, especially maybe us Hispanics, like maybe you can relate in it too. It's
Mhm.
like it can almost be so así es, así, así, así. So then
Yeah.
subconsciously we're built into this conditioning to where as an adult, ni sabes, your bones again, remember the cells remember these things. So now you're
Mhm.
questioning, wanting to make that change. And I feel like that's so heavy on us because it's even to like, te tienes que vestir así, or you know what I mean? Or like little things like that to where change is a big deal. And I share that because, for example, in my family, my mom loves to be super guapa, bien arreglada, bien vestida. My little sister too. And Esme, my older sister, she used to be the same way.
Yeah.
Super girly girl, back in the 2008s with the tees hasta acá arriba, bien grande.
I remember that.
Hormonas. And to
Yeah.
me, it was always the opposite. Like the less flashy I can be, the better. And my mom would always like darme carrilla and be like, "Ay, mija fodonga, ay, mija eso," like little comments like that, which at first they did bother me. And it kind of like subconsciously built an insecurity, like, oh my gosh, like am I not dressed to where I'm supposed to be? But you know what? I kept
Mm.
going against it. I kept going that uncomfortable feeling to where now, oh my gosh, like now it's just so liberating. And my parents already know, and they kind of are like, tú estás nomás para gusto, ¿verdad, mija? Like, te gusta sentirte a gusto, te gusta estar a gusto. I'm like, yeah, for me, it's all about comfortability to where before my mom wouldn't even
Mm.
accept it. She would be like, ve, cámbiate, ¿cómo vas a estar así con tu pelo? You know what I mean? Like little things.
Yeah, and you were always more for la comodidad and what
Yes.
was good for you. And I applaud you for going against, not going against your parents because it's not rebelling. You were just be
Right.
like, yeah, I see three women in my family getting ready. I'm still not gonna get ready though, and it's not even the point that you're looking for longa. It's just like I'm not gonna go to that extent to go. I'm not gonna go the extra mile to do my hair a certain way that I don't like, and I'm not gonna go the extra mile to have the nails, to have this, to have that, to look
Yeah.
glam 24/7 just because my family wants to.
Yeah.
And so you were very headstrong about that and your feelings towards that, when other people will just succumb to that because it's like, you know what, that's the norm. So I'm not my most comfortable, but this is the way it needs to be, or this is the way it has to be, or this is the way it's always been, women always dressing up and stuff like that. So kind of going against the norm for you has always just been a part of your nature. It's within you, you know
Yeah.
and
Almost like
I
subconsciously, yeah.
yeah, and I challenge everybody to, put yourself first more now in this new coming month. And if you don't want to do something, if it's if it's you're just not comfortable, or if you really just don't care for something, don't just don't you don't have you genuinely don't have to do anything you really don't want to do. And saying no is so powerful and it's so liberating, but it's so much harder than we realize,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And like even then, like giving you the power to, like you're saying, make that change. Because let's say, what if you're in a group of friends que todas siempre están guapas porque that's just what you're used to. And
Hmm.
one day you come in your yoga pants, a little just looking more dressed down. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that's so comfy. Next get together, everyone's like, hey, should we dress comfy? You know what I mean? And you kind of start also helping others see that because it's very subconscious, guys. Like a lot of this shit that we battle with in our minds, it's very subconsciously, and once we kind of embrace it within ourselves or maybe even put it out there, it's like a domino effect. There's so many other people that are almost like waiting for that sign because some of us, we can't move without the sign, and that's
Hmm.
okay. Some of us need that encouragement. So maybe be that awkwardly person, like me. I like to call myself that, like be that awkwardly person and make that change, like make that little uncomfortable feeling because in then maybe all these other girls are gonna be like, oh girl, I didn't want to wear a bra either. Thank you.
Or I'm glad you said it, because me either, or girl, thank God, because I'm so tired of wearing these damn heels, or something like that. But it's
Yeah.
always the fear of being the one to speak out or being the first one. And there is a great possibility that you can speak up and be the first one and you're the only one. But just own it. Own it. Be unapologetically yourself and what you feel and where your comfort is and where your boundaries are. And I really do like that quote. It's just don't. I mean, you can question it, you can be upset about the changes happening in your life, but more so than anything, just go with it, ride with it, and see, what is this taking me to? What is this? Because people, like I said, people will compare change to being wrong, or shameful, or something going downhill or something. But try to switch that mindset and flip the switch and look at it as a redirection,
Yeah,
you
I
know
like that word. Mhm.
Redirection. I all my redirections in my life, I didn't realize what they were, that they were good for me, till later on, you know
Yeah.
and I got into a mentality back in 2020, 2021, like, I don't like this, I don't like it at all, but God, I'm trusting you, or whatever higher power is for you, I'm
Mhm.
trusting it. And God, this is good. This I can't wait till I'm in the future and this shit fucking makes sense, because I'm so fucking lost right now, but I'm just gonna accept it and just take it,
Mm. That's so beautiful, girl. And,
Mhm.
energetically speaking, that's when you're just allowing all these things to come for you because there's no expectations. Like there's this book by Abraham Hicks called Ask and It Is Given. And she goes into super detail about the quantum physics and the laws of the universe, as far as like maybe the law of attraction, the law of vibration, and like all these other things. And she was saying how in the world we're meant to have everything that we want. Your mind creates that image because it knows that it can be manifested into this physicality, right?
Mm.
But then that other analytical mind kind of gets in the way. And just like, for example, I want to get a new car. And then you're like, well, how can I get a new car if I have all these bills a month? Now that's already, you're already kind of blocking it. So what you're doing, girl, it's so beautiful because you're just like, Jesus, take the wheel. I know you're going to drive me somewhere. Let's just go.
Yeah. You I guess, and it's so funny because this started for me, at least. I I started just being more accepting of, like, where life was taking me and the opportunities that were presenting, and opportunities that I really wanted that weren't panning out, that I was like, fuck it, whatever. Because at one point I was like, well, Jesus did give me the wheel for a while and I fucked that up. I was like, that didn't. And I was like, that did not even go well. Like, you know what? I think I'm going to let someone else drive for a minute just because obviously I am not the best decision maker and I'm not the best thinking on my feet or, at putting myself in situations that I shouldn't be in, that I do not need to be in. And I'm just gonna from now on, I'm just gonna go with the flow and let it be what I, because obviously my wants are not my needs,
Right,
you
right.
know?
And I love that. Anyone else in that boat that's kind of like, no, one time I took the wheel and it didn't work out. Do what Melissa's doing. Maybe have peace with the universe. Hey, aliens, whatever you believe in, let them take the wheel.
Yes.
It's gonna get you to where it has to. Like it works that way. And I've really been falling into that as far as in control. I have this subconscious
Oh.
control. And like, for example, if I have this appointment or I have this thing, it has to be done, right? To where
Mhm.
before I would break my back and I would try to do everything I can to make it work. Well, at the end of January, that was one of my intentions for this new year was, you know what? If I don't have availability, if I can't go here or there, it just, I can't do it kind of thing. And it's always been working out the most perfectly. And this whole or last month gave me the confirmation of that, like sometimes with like appointments either running late or like little things like that, or just stuff in life where I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, you know what? It's going to work out how it has to. Perfect example. Yesterday, I had an appointment and the girl was running a few minutes late. And I was like, sorry, we're going to have to rebook because I have another person right after you. And she was like, okay, never mind. I'll make it there at this time. Well, guess what? The person that was coming after her ended up running 30 minutes late. So that gave
Oh.
us that 30-minute
Yeah.
shrinkage where before I would have probably been like, oh my gosh, okay, hey girl, that's next. Can you give me 30 minutes because I have to get this? You know what I mean? Like fixing and doing all this
Mhm.
shit to where stressing myself out clearly to where
Yeah.
now it's like I just kind of let it go. Y mira, se arregló solito.
Yeah, and then I wanna touch on that too. The whole switching or stressing and kind of breaking your back and stuff to in a way, and this sounds harsh, but to kind of people please or to
True.
accommodate to people's schedules or to people's needs and stuff. I really want to work this year, and I want our listeners to kind of take a moment, and if you can be honest with yourself and admit that you tend to be a people pleaser, I want you to kind of start working on setting those boundaries as well, because I definitely want to, that this ties into becoming comfortable saying no, you know
Yeah.
but also just being honest, like, oh, if I can help someone with one thing and then they're like, oh, can you also do this? And in my mind I'm like, well, I don't really have time, but yeah, sure, why not, sure, why not? And it's like, no,
Mhm.
think about it, Melissa, you have other things to do. You have and your time is valuable. It's a lot more precious than you realize. I'm sorry, I can't, like, not try not, and it sounds fucked up, but stop trying to bend over backwards for everyone, because it's not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves that effort, you
Yes.
know?
That harsh truth. But like I always say, it may seem harsh, but if it's the truth, I mean, we have to accept the truth, and that's so true. And that really taught me something because I realized, like, hey, I don't always bend down backwards for myself. And how am I always
Yes.
able to do it for everyone? And that really gave me that self reflection as in, okay, Ruby, you know what? It's your time. And that's why for January, I had a very limited appointments only for that reason. I wanted to reground myself. I wanted to recoup, and now andamos con bien like para todo, but it's much needed. I truly agree. And it's so beautiful that you share that because definitely
Yeah.
resonate with a lot, I'm sure too.
And then for your mental health also, for
Yeah.
your mental health. And it's not like I mean, and Edgar sees it all the time. I finish doing something and the person's like, cool, thanks. And like doesn't give it a second thought. And it's not like you don't want the recognition, you don't want, all that, but it's like I just put myself through so fucking much just for like something that was so minuscule, and like it wasn't that serious. Like, why do you do that to yourself? Or I mean, Edgar would tell me all the time, why do you volunteer yourself for this? Why do you, and I'm like, I don't know, because like I want to help. Yeah, but you can't pour from an empty cup if you're going to be stressing about it. And then if it's going to put you in a bad mood and it's going to cause problems with you and I, then we
Mhm.
have a problem, Melissa. And it's like, you know what? You're right. There was times where I would snap at him because I was stressing about something that I volunteered to help someone with, that I didn't even have to. The person wasn't making me that. I just wanted to be that good person. And it's
Yeah.
like, I got to stop. Like, I need to chill a little bit and be nicer to myself and not, and my mental health. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, girl, that's so true. And this brings me back to this thought,
Mhm.
I'll share with you. Just recently, I
Yeah.
was offered a promotion at my job. And it's
Mm.
crazy because a few months ago, I told some of my girlfriends this. I was like, I feel like it's deja vu. Like whatever happened in 2017, 2018, it's now kind of like restarting again in this time. But now it's
Mhm.
like I learned what I didn't before, so now I'm ready, right? So
Mm.
2018, I left a supervisor job that I had for like 5 years,
Oh,
managing a
wow.
call center. And I was just super burnt out. That was my first call center job at I think 19 years old. And I was on the phones for a few months, worked my way up, all the way up, all the way to manager before I left. And the reason I left was because I just exploded. Like it was causing too much tension at home. It just became too much bringing work home and stuff like that. Right. So then
Mhm.
I finally find this job that I love in June, this job that I'm currently at. And I'm like, this is the perfect job. It has the perfect schedule. I can't have the best of both worlds, And I want to remind our listeners to that because I think sometimes society makes it seem like, yes, let's go after our dreams, but let's see what our dreams really are. For some people, their dreams might be to go off grid and just live and, live off of that. For some people, their dreams might be to have maybe a balance of both, or to just have it one way. So it's about really finding that internal balance. And so when I was given that or this that's happening with the whole deja vu, I got
Mhm.
the job. I'm here. I intuitively felt like maybe 2 months in, I was like, oi, like maybe they're gonna be like, why are you in customer service if your resumes up here? And of course in the matrix. But I told them this when I got the job, like, hey, I want a job that's less stress, that's just, more compatible for what I want now. So
Yeah.
then again, a few months into this job, just recently I got asked to be promoted to this other team, and I was going to take it. I was going to just say yes right away without really thinking what my wants are. Of course, I thought, oh my gosh, yes, I have so much value I can bring to this company.
Mhm.
I've worked my way up. I can do it again, blah, blah, blah. But then I started questioning, like, is that what I want though, Ruby? Is that what I want? Or am I just excited to show my worth or show my skills to the company? So I spoke with the manager very open hearted, and I was like, hey, thank you so much for the promotion, but I am going to kindly decline at this time because
Oh,
I'm
wow.
comfortable where I'm at. I like the schedule I have. The schedule's most important for me. Of course, there would be a pay change and things like that, but hey, I found the balance. I'm comfortable with this job. It gives me everything I need from 5 to 1 p.m. Once I'm clocked out, I'm good and I have my free time for this, which I'm seeing that before, there was already that was so much that was going on in me, like my relationship, my
Mhm.
life, a lot of things that were happening where I didn't have that mental maybe strength to be like, no, you know what? I can't keep climbing the ladder. Maybe I'll just stay here because this is enough for me, Y exploté.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like deja vu because I feel like I would have easily just been like, yes, let's do it. But I actually sat with it and I'm like, no, 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 this is teaching me something bigger. And maybe it's teaching me to put myself first. Like, yes, there's a lot of value that we can all bring to employers, but let's also
Yeah.
choose what balance if fits well with us and for them, because in my position, I'm a great employee. I will continue to be, but it's like, I'm okay here. And that's okay sometimes, and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
vulnerable. It almost like my ego was almost like, well, what are they gonna think? Well, I don't care. I'm
Well,
comfortable.
that's actually what I'm thinking. I'm like, I wonder what they thought. Like, I'm like, what is this girl okay?
Okay, on the head, no. But hey, let me just tell you that one of the higher ups is who I manage or messaged directly to, let them know. And he was
Mhm.
very, very impressed with the response and was just like, okay. And I'm laughing within myself because I'm like, eh, maybe ahora con esto, they're like, okay, ahora con más razón. Hay que ver qué pedo con esta. You know what I mean?
Dude, don't doubt it. They probably are. They
I know.
probably are.
Va a estar como tenga que estar, right? But yeah, it's so true. I love this topic that we're on because it's true. The planets are not in retrograde. And what does retrograde mean? Astrology just says that when retrograde happens, it's a moment of like pause, reflect. All the shit that's happening is for a reason. Your car tires popping for a reason. Se te chingó tu
Mhm.
carro por algo. There's a higher reason that's stopping us from these things. But of course, on the eye point of view, we can't see it that way. We're like, no, like my car just a chingo. That's a lot of money I'm gonna have to put into it to fix. But hey, maybe your car needed to break for you to slow down. Maybe you need to slow down. Like bigger reasons to why these things are happening. So that's why when there's no retrograde, it's like, okay, there's a break to just align with all this abundance that life has for us. It's like literally there. Agárrenlo.
And just soak in the month and take it day by day and just, just be in the month of February. Because my definition of retrograde, or what I had in mind, basically, is just everything going to shit. It's what I pick up from people, from context clues and stuff.
Right.
When things aren't happening, things aren't working, it's like fucking Mercury's in retrograde. And it's like, in my head, I always thought, okay, that means that shit's not panning out the way people want it to. But really, like you said, it's for a reason. It's things, trying to show you something or redirect you to something else, or a kind of an awakening of some sort, I guess. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I would agree because it's the same thing, you know, like when you have this higher trust and you're just like, ay Dios, like, ¿por qué me siguen pasando estas cosas? Like, why? Retrogrades, why? Life is not after us. No, life is I mean, would God want to punish you? You know, no, God is nothing but love. So then these lessons that they're bringing to us, it's for a bigger reason. But I've really been sitting with that lately, you know, like especially
Mhm.
with religion. Of course, I believe in God, but then I also believe in, like, you know, just a very open minded and belief. And I'm always like that. Hey, whatever we believe in, Buddha, Shiva, God, aliens, whatever, do you really think they're out here to cause harm? No,
Mhm.
life will never be bad. Like, even though through these, I mean, for example, my sister's death, that was the worst thing that could have happened to me in that mental state at the time, right? My mind couldn't fathom to why. But as I connected with myself, as I connected to maybe that unknown, I was able to see a bigger picture that maybe even vocalizing it through words would not make sense. But in my heart and my body, it makes so much sense and it just feels good, you know?
It's just easier now to accept the fact that she had her time on earth for a reason, and her she was only meant to be here for a portion of your life, and to be significant in that short amount of time, right?
Yes, and beautifully said, Melissa, because, you know, I read this book that's called Spirit Babies, and this is for people that have had miscarriages or that have lost
Mm.
children or just are not able to conceive for some reason. Maybe, you know, you lost the few and then finally the fifth one you were able to carry full term. Well, that book really opened my mind to that duality of life. It was saying how, okay, the soul, right? The soul, not the body, not the meat, flesh, and bone, the soul chooses to incarnate into this life and experience life on earth in whatever
Mm.
form it has to. Maybe that soul only wanted to experience life in the womb. Maybe that
Mm.
soul only wanted to experience life 3 months out, and their contract, I'm full of goosebumps, and their contract for life
That's
was
deep.
done, and that was, it's super deep. I mean, I that book really put me in a rabbit hole, but it's like really thinking about it without that analytical mind, just like at a very aware level. It's like, yes, you know, there are timings in life where things play place for a certain reason,
Mhm.
and every single thing has a divine timing. You know, I mean, religion, the
Yeah.
Bible says this, you know, tiempo de Dios es perfecto, los tiempos de él siempre son. So just like how you
Mm.
said, yes, I truly sat with it and I can truly agree that her time here in life, she cumplió lo que tuvo que cumplir, vivió lo que tuvo que vivir, and now her soul chose to leave. And it's even bittersweet saying that because if anyone knew my sister, the listeners, they knew that she was always about, ay, me voy a morir, ¿y qué le hace? Girl, you know what I mean? Like at a very conscious level, it's like she was speaking maybe through the soul. This girl would always say, yo no me quiero casar, yo no quiero hijos, la vida es muy corta, hay que nomás vivir. And there was this saying that she would always say that my parents would just kind of be like, like you don't say that. She would say, something like, pues, ¿qué puede pasar? Like, ¿qué es lo que va a pasar? Kind of thing. Like, just like, well, if I die, I'm going to die. And my parents were always just like, no, Esme, like, no. Vida solo hay una. Vida solo hay una. And they were
Yes.
always like, no, you can't have that mentality for everything. And she would be like, no, it is. So now, a few years after her death, I started hearing like YOLO a lot. And I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
girl, you made it into the, you made, you know, you pushed it out here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like she had a YOLO mentality even before YOLO was even like a thing. Very aware, and she was very present, very
Mhm.
present, and and I think that's a mistake. Everyone, I mean, I'm guilty of thinking we have time and thinking we can leave stuff for later, and wanting to just um do everything, but be like, when the time is right. It's like, well, why not? Why isn't the right time now? Well, it's because I'm not ready. Well, if you wait till you're ready for something, you're never going to get there, because there's always going to be an excuse why you shouldn't start, or there's always going to be a boundary or
Yeah.
an obstacle that's not really an obstacle, but you make it an obstacle just because of the fact that you're just like not ready, you know?
I agree. And it's so beautiful that we're talking about this because just last week
Mhm.
when I started posting the reels more consistently,
Yeah.
I'll share this with you guys. I sit and I meditate, right, every morning, like always. But what I've been doing is asking, what's my mission today? What should I share? Because clearly, who I connect with
Mhm.
knows that I'm really camera shy. Like I'm not shy in person. I will start doing karaoke and dancing, but on the
Yeah.
camera, it's kind of like no se me da, no sé qué. So I would sit there and ask, and that's how I started channeling all these things that like people were so very open to. Like I had so many DMs. I think I had the most interaction with those last three reels that
That's
I ever.
good.
Yeah, which is
You're getting
great.
that engagement. You're getting that engagement.
Yeah, yeah, that
Mhm.
engagement and just knowing that there's messages out there for us that we just sit and take the time to listen to them almost.
And so many messages that we just let kind of pass by. That we just
Yes.
let kind of go
Mhm.
right above us, right through us, just either our ego, or we're too busy. We're too busy doing stuff, or what's that quote that says life is what happens when you're busy making plans, when you're
Mm,
busy doing other things. And if we just sat there and just we were just present, we would see that everything has a meaning, or has a purpose, or has an actual, reasoning behind. My pregnancy brain is so bad. I'm so sorry.
okay,
But
girl,
it was like there's always like a more, there's always more something behind, or there's always more to what meets the eye. If you just
yeah.
actually sit, and if you actually sit with it and give it the time of day to actually try to understand it, I guess.
Yeah, and sitting with gratitude, after sitting that and asking, like, what's my
Mhm.
mission for today? Like, what should I share? After that, I would always end with just thank you. Like, thank you for which, I
Mm.
feel like before I would kind of like, as I'm brushing my teeth, oh, I'm awake. Thank you. Like, thank you. I go, get my energy from the sun or whatever. But as of last week, it's been more in the sense of like, hey, you can get in your car and you're going to go to the store, and even just not even having the thought of like knowing if you're going to come back, to having that deep deep sense of gratitude. Like we
Mm.
take life for granted in such a big way, to where maybe this year, as a collective or everyone within your heart, let's maybe stand more in gratitude. And I swear, I promise, like gratitude is such a high vibration that if that's sitting there in your heart has an electromagnetic field that extends out, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Literally, it extends out. So if you're radiating gratitude every day, or maybe just that thought or that energy of grace comes into you, where maybe before it didn't as deeply, I promise you, your heart's going to be radiating and attracting so much, because it's just quantum physics. Like it's the antenna, you put the Wi-Fi signal, you're here, connect to Ruby's, CenturyLink house. Now the signal is all the way out because the
Mm.
Wi-Fi is connected to the heart with that feeling of gratitude. So I've really been, embracing that feeling a lot more, and just even maybe taking it a little bit to the extreme for my internal self, to the
Yeah.
sense of just like, we get in the car, we expect it to take us somewhere, y cuando algo le pasa al carro, we're mad. That's so ungrateful, guys. Like the cars need a break too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, siempre en chinga, and one bad little thing that happens, now our whole world has ended. Yes,
Yeah.
because we were expecting to get somewhere, but it's like, can we give the car some grace that it's been running for how many years and never gave out, and now it wants to give out? You know what I mean? Like it may
Mhm.
even sound silly, but it's so true.
Well, my dad always used to say, and he still says it to this day, it's like, qué bueno que ese es tu problema y no, es que no es peor. Qué bueno que
Mm,
se te calentó el carro, or see, like when it overheats, right?
yeah,
Like, qué bueno y que no fue un accidente.
I like
Or,
that. Qué bueno que
que,
no fue peor.
yeah, he always used to put that in our heads. Or when I would say, why me? He's like,
Yeah.
¿y por qué no? ¿Quién
Mm,
eres tú para que no te pasen las cosas? I'm like, no one. Like, I'm not no one. Exactly. So be grateful that this is it and it's not anything worse, you know? Just be grateful that that is your problem, porque como hay muchos niños que quisieran, hay muchas jóvenes que
Yeah,
quisieran
I
tener
remember
tus
those.
problemas, and I'm like,
Mhm.
damn, daddy. Always he was the king of making us feel guilty for complaining about our problems, when it's like,
I love that.
just go with it. And I always share this quote for Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
because it really, really, I love the quote, but it's like, if we all threw our problems into a pile and we saw everyone else's, we'd grab ours back.
Oh, yes, that's so true. That's true. And it's so I can relate with you saying that about your parents saying like hay niños que no, for example, mine no están comiendo, hay niños que no tienen una cama or little things. And it's like
Mm,
for me, for example, as I got into an adult, it's kind of like subconsciously I let that go to where I'm just like almost like not in a bad way, like I know I'm deserving of what I'm deserving for, but it's
mhm.
almost like kind of like taking it for granted almost
Yeah.
if I really sat and thought about it, like with these things of the car, it's like I was really taking a car for granted. I was really taking these little things for granted. Although we were raised upon these things, reminding us of, what you have is blessings. It almost comes to a point in life where life may get too much that we forget, and we got to kind of go back to these
Mhm.
things, and that kind of provides that inner, at least for me, it's provided that inner balance, like that inner calmness of just serenity almost is what I've been
Yeah.
really, really feeling lately. Of course, life has been happening and the lessons have been coming in, but it's like going back to that place of just, explotó, all right, aquí estamos kind of thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's okay for that to happen, because life can get ahead of us, and we can get
Yes.
so wrapped up in being happy and being in the moment of what life is giving us right now and stuff. And it's like, you have to remember, at the end of the day, there's a higher power that made this happen, or that you are where you are, that you have health and your lungs
Mhm.
work, and that you're able to move and that you're able to enjoy all these things. And it's like, oh shit, gotta remember to stay humble, or not stay humble, but like be appreciative, and not only think of God or think of whatever higher power you believe in, not only when we need them, when we're in
Mhm.
our when we're in despair, but also be grateful when we're up top. Always keeping staying level headed, and knowing that there all of this was meant for you, and being grateful and staying humble more than anything.
Yeah, for
Be,
sure. Really touching.
Especially because things that come can go like that, easy come, easy go. I've always said, like, the only thing that people can't really take away from you is your education, your
Mhm.
knowledge, what you have in your heart, and your compassion, and your morals.
So
That is the true riches that we inherit from people, or that we ourselves seek, or get ourselves, or earn ourselves. And those are the true things that no one can ever take away from us. That a car, a house, all those things, they're great, but they can also be gone tomorrow.
yeah, that's so
Hmm.
true. Sitting with what feels good to you, I feel like the world is evolving so fast. I mean, we're like in a digitally obsessed world to where a lot of us, and this is speaking to that motivation because we
Hmm.
can all fall into of what life should look like, of what life should be. I mean, this digital marketing, this digital creating, like everything is digital now. So it's like you're
Hmm.
almost like seeing how life should play out when in reality that's working for them, or maybe they're putting
Yeah.
on the camera for them, but it's like
Mhm.
kind of taking control of you and what feels right for you, because I've also been channeling a lot of that, like we are sad for our own sadness almost, but then we don't have the strength to question what is really making me sad, because it may not be that, it may be just be an illusion of what you're almost creating. But you sit and really ask yourself and you're like, do I really want, I don't know, like I'm just talking out of my ass, like, do I really want this beautiful boy that he looks so cute and everyone thinks he's like, oh my gosh, when in reality it can just be maybe a person that wasn't as attractive could maybe be treating you better, you know what I mean, like staying
Yeah.
on that, you know what I mean, so like really, really going within. Again, am I promoting my business? No, I'm just kidding. That
Oh.
369 Inner Healing and Balance.
Hey, wherever you can plug it in, girl.
No, I'm kidding, but really, like
No,
really, it's the year for this.
it makes me sad too, to think, and this is just my pregnancy hormones being emotional.
Let
Also
it
makes
out.
me s But it also makes me sad to think too, when someone's excited about something and they feel a certain way
Mhm.
about something, and then how quick their feelings change the moment they get online, and they realize they do the comparison. Oh, well, something could be greater, and they're like, damn, and they start feeling shit about themselves, and it's like, fuck, it's just so, so sucky how much social media controls people's emotions and um people's what's the word, their oh my god, what is the word, where they set the bar of their self-worth,
Like
right?
standards.
Yes, their standards, exactly. Because someone could be feeling amazing about
Mhm.
where they are in life, or not even saying I'm the shit, just like feeling good. And they get
Right.
on social media and they start seeing a girls with bodies that are photoshopped, or start seeing all that, and they're like, damn, I want that. Oh damn, it'd be nice. Oh damn. And then before they know it, they're in that rabbit hole, and before they know it, after like 45 minutes to an hour scrolling, they feel kind of shitty about themselves. Man, I really would love a nose job. Damn, if I could get lip fillers, that'd be. And they start looking at themselves, getting these apps and trying to, messing with it. And it's like, fuck. And then that's in there. And then the feeling they had prior to even connecting online is gone now. And it's jeopardized because of all this comparison from that we're exposed to on social media, you
Yeah.
know?
And it's truly so real and that deep, because I almost felt into that boat. Of course,
Mhm.
everyone, whatever feels right for you, whatever you like, it's okay. But I think it's like when you're kind of going against yourself and just like, I know, no, but I kind of like everyone's doing it. So I gotta, like, that's when you kind of create that distance within yourself because I
Mhm.
almost fell into the wanting to get my body done. And again, my mom has her body done. She looks amazing. She got it done at freaking 49 years old and like looks, she looks great
Mhm.
and she loves it. And I almost wanted to before, but it was just more of like the online, you would scroll. Everyone had a big butt. Hey, my husband's from Culiacan. I would go to Culiacan. Girl, puras algonas allá. Like I was the only natural one, probably. So of course that always came in of just like, like, do I want to get my body done? And to where I was like almost thinking, like, you know what, fuck it, maybe I will. And of course, you had my mom over here, like, hey, I'll help you, mija. Like, you can get your body done, like yo te patrocino kind of thing. And to where I was like, you know what,
Damn,
no,
will she help me?
stop, Melissa. You look great. But it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do it because I want to. No, I am freaking scared to go under anesthesia. I've always said that if I feel like if I'm gonna go under, I'm probably not gonna wake up, like start getting my funeral ready. But
Oh,
to
don't say
the point
that.
where like it's just a fear, of course not. No, 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 I trust, but almost to like where the point of like that pushed me to get it until I finally sat and was like, you know what? No, I don't want to. I like to work out. I like to, like there's
Yeah.
other methods that one can do to build it. But hey, then you have my mom that did it and she loves it and she looks great and she's happy. And that was what she wanted. I didn't
Yeah.
convince her. You know what I mean? I didn't
Mhm.
talk her into it. She was like, I'm not scared. I've had my matriz taken out. Like I can go get the surgery like nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure your mom wasn't all into like social media or anything like that. So your mom genuinely did it because it's what she wanted in her heart, and that was like a conscious decision.
Yes,
And
and I'm happy for it because she got it done after
yeah.
the kids. She's grown. Siempre dice ella, she's like, I had you guys young. Ya todas están grown. Now it's my time to live. She's like, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
do me. And it's so right. So I know that gave her that inner confidence or maybe like just whatever she in her heart and it's radiating. She looks
Yeah.
great. She
And,
looks
and and that's different when it's compared to women nowadays that do it because they feel like they need to.
yes. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. You're perfect as you are. That nose that's sitting in your face that you're trying to fix, that was your great 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 grandmother's nose. Like that is her image of you. Why are you trying to?
I mean, I am not against, adding or taking away or doing whatever. I am just a big promoter of do it if it's really in your heart what you want and what's going to make you happy, and
That's
not
needs
what
to.
you think, and not because you think you have to do it or you need to do it. Um, I got lip fillers back in 2021, and it's just something that I've been wanting for a long time. I had no top lip. They diffuse a little bit now with time because I needed to get them redone, but I got pregnant, so I couldn't. But it was just something like my parents and my family were giving me shit for it, and like why, and like you're fine, and my dad telling me I don't. I thought you had a very healthy self esteem, and you're gonna go. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with that. Like, I'm like, I honestly, honest to God, I told him, I'm like, Dad, I know I'm pretty, but I also know that getting my lips done is gonna make me prettier, and that's what I want. And he was like, bueno pues. And as much as they talk shit, it's so funny because I got them done, and like two or 3 days later, I went over. Y era el día del niño. And
Mm.
my mom got us all gifts for there's four of us. We're all grown and as shit,
Oh,
but
that's
she
cute.
she got us all gifts, and mine was a set of lipsticks for my new lips. Like,
I
mira,
love
they're
that.
like they're like pa que estrenes, and I was like, this is so funny because even though they didn't agree with it, they're like, whatever, we're gonna
There's a
celebrate.
support to
Yeah,
it.
they're like, it's what you wanted, and here you go. I just thought that was so funny because my mom's like, mira, pa que estrenes ya los labios esos. And I'm
Yes, and
like,
it's
thank you.
true. You wanted it. It was your choice. Just like, for example, I like to wear crop tops. That's my choice. It's the difference when it's like, I have to wear crop tops because
Yeah.
that's the difference. And it's beautiful because it's exactly like you're saying. And I won't say who, of course, but I had this conversation with someone recently, a few weeks ago, with a few
Who,
people.
Ruby? Who?
Give me some money and I'll talk. No, I'm just kidding. All jokes, but it was like getting vulnerable within ourselves to realize, this that you were saying earlier about sometimes maybe feeling that subconscious jealousy. We had a very heart to
Mm,
heart conversation, and we were like, and I said, hey, let's accept that every single human being has gone through a time where maybe someone is showing you something or something about something, right? And you unconsciously feel some kind of jealousy, but it's not
mm,
hatred jealousy. It's just like, oh, I wish I had that, but I'm so happy for them. But that
yeah.
internal jealousy, it's okay to feel that and recognize that you should have seen, girl. Like it was in a room full of a few friends. And once that happened, it's like everyone's shoulders kind of went down. And it's like, yes, let's embrace these rough parts of ourselves because once we can see and acknowledge that, yes, there was some kind of jealousy that I was feeling about her doing this, but I don't know why. I love her. I shouldn't feel jealousy. Aligning your mind and consciously recognizing that that's not your feeling. That's not your behavior. That's not your thoughts. Kind of block it out, because a lot of these behaviors that we have, especially as adults, it's very subconscious behavior that we don't even know. So if we can
Mm,
recognize it, that can ease the pain that we have internally, because then
yeah.
only in doing so, it allows you to be true to yourself. And yeah, that change again, starting with that quote, that change is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel almost like disgusted by yourself that you would even think that you have those thoughts, but recognizing that they're not your thoughts, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so liberating. So if we can all just kind of be vulnerable within our minds and body to see things, maybe it's not jealousy like that, like maybe it's other things, but really embrace those darkness things, and the light will then shine upon you. Because remember, the light
Yeah.
can glow, but us, we can feel better, we can be better.
Or just shifting the way you think about it. I mean, I tell my female friends all the time. I'm like, dude, que envidia de la buena. Like like I'm so happy for you. Damn, I wish I was in your shoes. Or that would be wouldn't that be nice if I had that? But it's not hate.
Right.
I'm not envious. I'm not
Mhm.
like wishing anything bad. It's just like, damn, girl, if I was in your shoes, I'd be living it up too. Like you get that shit, you know?
But
And
see,
it's
and
it,
that's the difference because you're openly hearted saying that with nothing but love, but
yes.
then in our minds, it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like we have that internal battle within ourselves y como que nos
Mm.
apagamos nuestra luz por sentirnos así, when in reality, embrace that wound, embrace that pain and move through it, like
And
it's
also
real.
understand that those emotions are healthy,
Yeah.
just like you can be happy and you can be ecstatic and you can be, over the moon about stuff. You can also feel, you know a little envious, but it
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't,
Exactly.
it doesn't mean you're a bad person. That's not your character. It's just like, kind of like, fuck that shit. Wouldn't that be nice? And but
Yes.
just take it more as a like a just accept that feeling and just kind of, yeah, I don't know how to say it, like, feel it in a healthy way. In a healthy
Yes.
way. Feel it in a healthy way. Don't be bitter about it. I mean, there's no point in being bitter about it, and just be honest. If you're honest about the way you're feeling, because people will try to hide those feelings or try to
Mhm.
mask them as something else. And
Yeah.
then sometimes it comes out just even more fake because it's like, they said they were happy for me, but it sounded fake, or it sounded forced, or it sounded, tampoco
Mhm.
don't be forcing yourself to say things you don't want to say because you think you need to be saying them, just because you're trying to hide the fact of what you're really feeling. Just,
Mhm.
sometimes you don't have to say anything at all.
Yeah, literally, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
work. better. Yeah, I
Yeah, less
agree.
is more. Just be. And like I said, I have no problem telling my girlfriend sometimes when, someone gets something done, or they're doing this, or they're going somewhere, because a lot of my friends are traveling and stuff. It's fucking damn, dude. Que suave, envidia de la buena. Like have fun, and live it up for. I've been saying this a lot since Zoe, my first baby. I've been saying it like, hey, dude, live it up for your pregnant homies. I can't. you know, just go.
And you're like, and here I am again. Live it up for the pregnant homies.
Seriously, drink, and like, you know going out with friends. I have not gotten out in a while, so I don't even know why I'm using this, but like, even with my friends, it's like, take a
Yeah.
shot. Or like, my family, take a shot. I'm not taking a shot. Our posada familiar
Yeah.
in Christmas, for the holidays that just passed. It's like, come on, Grace, take a shot. Do it for your pregnant homies. I can't. Come on.
Ah,
Fuck, damn. Okay.
you know what I want to bring up? A very, this is a always open-minded conversation with you, like with our episodes, and I love it because the
Yeah.
listeners love it too. I've gotten so much feedback. I had a few, I forgot to share with you. A few people were like, I like how you and Melissa just get get along in the sense to where you can agree to disagree, and that's okay. Like, and I've seen a lot of videos or stuff where you can feel like almost that passiveness or someone wanting to convince, and it's like you and Melissa, it's very nonchalant, like, nah, this is me, nah, this is me, and that's it. So it's awesome. But I'm bringing
Yes.
it up because this is one of the things that I said, hey, this is a good one to bring up to the episode.
Oh
Um,
shit. Oh
I know,
shit.
right? So what are
Oh,
thoughts? What are thoughts, or what is the difference in one's perspective, right? The
mhm.
difference between someone, let's say, that is a pothead, wakes up, has to smoke to get their day done, right? Quote, has to, as opposed to someone that is a coffee drinker that has to drink their cup of coffee. Hey, remember, there's people that smoke that have to smoke consistently. You got the vape pen, you're like hitting it every time. But you also have those people that walk around with their mug those 8 hours in the office and the coffee never goes down. So, what's the difference?
I don't think there's much of a difference, actually. I mean, because people are going to say, well, one of them is probably, the one with the coffee is probably more productive than the other one. It's like, that's not necessarily true, though. Because
Nope, because I see the weed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't know what.
no, no, because there's people, I've met people that depend on I was gonna say pipe. That's bad. That'd be like fucking heroin. No, there's people that depend on the vape, but
Yeah.
our college students, they're getting the work turned in, they're getting their shit done, and they realize, just like you can have functioning alcoholics, right? Doesn't
Mm.
necessarily make it a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not something to be proud of, but it is what it is. Throughout the years, your body becomes depending on something. So, I think there's definitely there's not much different. Definitely not much difference between someone who's addicted to caffeine and someone who is addicted to either vaping or smoking weed. I just think it's just a different vice, but you're dependent on it.
Right. At the end of the day, right? And isn't it crazy how, I kid you not, like if there were to be a poll on Instagram or something to be out there, the weed smokers would be the ones that would be labeled as in
Oh,
like that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. But hey, if we want to go in depth, let's pull up a brain scan and let's
mhm.
scan the people's brain that drink coffee every day full of sugar, as opposed to maybe a pothead brain of a few years, or like let's say, 10 years of a pothead, 10 years of a coffee caffeine addict. I guarantee you the brain scan will show that the sugar, aka the crack, the real drug, the heroin,
Mhm.
affected the brain more than a little marijuana did. But then again, this is why I'm bringing this up, because society has it the complete opposite.
This
Literally. And this is the
big
world that we fucking live in. Everything is the opposite, you guys. And this is why we're, this conversation of like going within yourself. If it
Mhm.
feels right to you, if it works for you, it's right.
If
Society's
it's
gonna
not getting you in trouble, though, if it's not getting you in trouble by
or
drug
hurting
testing at
others
work,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because once anything can be bad for you once it's affecting your productivity. Is if we're talking about the workplace, or I mean, if you're missing, even in your in your personal life too, though, because
Yeah.
if it's affecting your relationships, if it's affecting your work productivity, if it's affecting your finances, if you're bending over backwards to um to
Like live a lifestyle that you can't almost.
yeah, live a lifestyle that you can't, or to get um more fucking I fucking hate how my brain goes black, but to not supply, or maybe supply, But to kind of continue this addiction or to get more weed or to buy your vapes, whatever it is, the liquid, I don't know, to whatever you need, or if you're bending over backwards and spending money that you don't have to continue this addiction, it's like you're fucking yourself over. You're screwing yourself over. That's when it's a problem. That's when I'm like, it's not okay. No matter what that addiction is, that's when it's like,
Exactly.
when it's affecting other things in your life and other factors, and it's noticeably, declining relationships, then it's like you have to sit down. I don't care what it is, you know?
Exactly. Hey, it's like a person that doesn't drink their caffeine. What happens when they don't have their morning coffee? They're ticked off at the world, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Just as in, like, maybe someone who takes their morning smoke every day and doesn't, like, when it gets to that point that it's affecting, like, yeah, like, that's when it would be that. But I really
Video
wanted to
video
bring,
games, video
yeah,
games.
oh,
I
yeah,
I've been
right?
I've been very vocal about how much I dislike guys
I
that are
remember.
gamers. I don't dislike the guys that game. I just have never thought I just don't like seeing a guy with a headset and playing video games. To me,
The behavior
it
of
just
it?
no, not even the behavior. It's such a turn off, to me. It's just like, okay, you want to play
To
video
you,
games,
okay.
play on your own time. But if we're just hanging out and you're like, I'm gonna game, to me, it just pisses me off. And it shouldn't. It just pisses me off though. And Edgar
Oh,
plays. Yeah, I know. Edgar plays once in a blue moon and he'll do it when me and baby are sleeping, and not
oh.
for a long time. But like I know other people that will game from the time they get home and it's for hours, and it's like, come eat, and it's like you're gaming. To me, I'd be like, do something else productive with your life, be with your family, be present, like stop, but I also don't sit and watch TV all day. I don't sit and watch movies all day. I'll read books, listen to audiobooks, or if I do watch like Friends or whatever, because it's while I'm working or
Mhm.
while I'm cooking or while I'm eating, but it's never just me
Multitasking.
sitting down. So maybe that's why, because I'm not such a huge
Yeah,
on like maybe because I'm not huge on just sitting down and letting something entertain me. I'm so against when I
yeah.
see someone just stuck on the computer, and I'm like, you're a grown ass man. um
It's
I,
true. I agree. Like what you're saying, like maybe because you're not the type of person to sit there and spend hours doing that. You're like, dude, you can move, you can do, So yeah, I really agree. It's like with what you feel. Because my mom's the same way. She sees niños con mocos and she wants to like almost go and clean their nose because she dislikes it. That is her thing. She hates seeing niños mocosos.
yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, because you dislike it so much, it literally triggers her. When she see, even
Mhm.
today, it will trigger her to see kids que están mocosos because that's something that she dislikes so much?
Yeah, and it's not even like, it doesn't like irk me to the point like if I go somewhere to my friend's house and like, well, Melina's
Yeah,
my sister's fiance, he games, and I'd go over sometimes and he'd just be gaming. I mean, I don't have no problem with it. That
yeah.
literally, I mean, he's it's his own thing. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, get the fuck off, it's like whatever.
In his own house, you're like, "Get off from there."
Yeah, no, no, no. And like, I don't care. Like, I'm talking about like if I talk to my friend Lexi too, her husband games a lot, and we'll be on FaceTime, and she's like, he's gaming, and I'm like, cool, like that's your guys' business, whatever. But if I were to come home every day and I want to have an actual conversation with Edgar, and he were to tell me I'm gonna log in, and it's like it's 5 p.m. though. Yeah, I'm gonna do it for 8 hours. I probably couldn't handle it. I'd be like, can you get off and spend time with me,
Yeah,
or do
it's
something else? Yeah, like
yes.
do something like that's what would drive me crazy. I'm like,
Yeah,
and it is very much right now, and it's just something that we both kind of agreed on. Like, we've never had a conversation, but it just something that we just mutually ended up coming to terms with
mhm,
unknowingly. It's like
yeah.
he does it on his own time, and and there's times where he's like, I think I want to connect. I haven't played with so and so in a while. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll take a bath, making
Yeah,
sure I'm doing
yeah.
something else. But I'm not gonna sit there. My poor sister Melina, I love you, babe. But one time I FaceTimed her and I'm like, what are you doing? She was literally sitting on the couch watching Lino, which was right next to her. He was playing and it was streaming, and she was watching it in the living room TV. And she's like, I'm just watching Lino play. He wanted me to watch him. And
I love
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And she had wine. And she's like, "Yeah." In my head, I was like, that would have driven me crazy. I'd be like, "Oh God, I'm not gonna sit there and watch you fucking shoot stuff." And like, like, oh God,
Oh, you're so funny, but I could relate because it's like that's what they do, like, that's what he does, and in yours, like, it's not
it
it wouldn't
works for them.
exactly, yeah, like, it wouldn't make sense.
To me, it's like, let's do something else with our time. Like, Oh my
Mhm.
God. Like let's and I'm not really like, I mean, back then I'd be like, let's go to a sports bar, let's,
Yeah.
go get a beer. Even here at the house, let's go sit down outside, agarrar unas chucherías like pepinos con tajín, beer,
Yeah.
una michelada, and let's just sit down and enjoy the dogs. We used to love sitting outside,
Mhm.
watching the boys, Chente and
Yeah.
Azul, just play and stuff and just actually talk. Or we'd be both be on our phones on Instagram showing each other funny memes and
I
stuff like that.
know. Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, but the whole video games, the addiction, if you're playing video games and you have bags and you're sleeping late and you're not making it to work on time, it's like you have a problem. So you're just as bad. You're just as bad or probably even worse than the guy who vapes and but is making it to work on time and meeting all his deadlines and is in a good mood and stuff. It's like it's not what you're addicted to, it's how bad the addiction is. That's
Yeah.
my take on it.
I agree, balance, you know? And
Mhm.
like, let's say, for example, what if it's someone that to them going into a chaotic war environment with their headphones and shooting, like, what if for them that is releasing,
Yeah.
that is releasing whatever they're feeling? And to one, it's like, oh my gosh, that will stress me out. Like hearing guys screaming, the gunshots, and you getting triggered because you're not hitting me, like that seems so chaotic. But you ask them, and they're like, dude, I just released like freaking 5 weeks of stress in this 3 hours I played, you know?
Oh my God. It's so funny because Edgar will get into his, no, 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 stop it. It's coming. It's coming. And I'm just like, he doesn't play often, so I try not to. I don't complain when he does because I'm like, I know he really wants to let off steam if he finally is playing. Because for him, usually it's hitting the gym. It's
Mhm.
just going into the garage and hitting the gym and so if he says I'm gonna play, it literally, I think the last time he played was probably 3 months ago. I'm not even kidding. Like that's how far sporadic it is. But I said this on my Instagram stories not that long ago, and I got so much feedback. People, if you haven't learned by now, you guys, I have a potty mouth, and I am, I'm just, I talk a lot of shit, and that's just me. And it's some
It's universal.
some people can think it's funny, other people think it's gross, and then to
That's
me,
funny
it's
as
just like
fuck.
that's just me. But I got this or this is a bit from Natasha Leggero. I think that's her name. She's a comedian, and she said like I would rather walk in on my husband, um, on all fours, handcuffed to the bed with a dildo in his ass, than seeing him with the fucking video game headset, like playing when I control.
Stop. I would take the video from 2000. That's trauma.
So like, or it's something along those lines, she said, then seeing him with the fucking video game headset, like, and playing. And so one time on my stories, Edgar and we had nothing to do. I think it was like a Friday. I was still pregnant with Soya. She wasn't born yet. And we were laying down and he decided to play. And normally I would have found something to do, but I think it was really late. So I was like, I'll just stay here. And he was being so loud and I was on Instagram. So I said that same thing on my Instagram, on my stories. And I said, you guys, I would rather um find Edgar like that, dildo in his ass and everything, than seeing him like this. And at the moment I switched the camera to him, he was like, no, 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 whatever. And then I put the camera back on me and I was like, this is so fucking, I was like so fucking unattractive. And then I like got out and so many people were giving me shit for it. Like, you're so gross. Why would you say that? Oh my God, Melissa, I can't stand you. And other people were like, you're fucking hilarious. My friend Lexi was like, dude, I swear, like you and your video games, what do you have against people playing video games? And I'm like, hey, people can play. I don't mind. I'm just,
My man.
yeah, I was like, just my man. Like, I was like, we could have been like doing other stuff, and he was just wanting to get so, and then they get so into it, and I'm like, it's not real. And I think, and I'm rambling about this, but I think a big, big reason why it's so hard for me to comprehend why it's so fun, like why the fuck people even care about video games, is because I'm not a competitive person. I'm not competitive.
Mm, there you go.
I'm
I
not.
see that.
So I'm
Okay.
like, so my thought is like, if
It's
someone
pointless almost.
kind of, but and Edgar would be like,
I
damn, they
see.
killed me or something, or if I'm playing something and I'm like, it's about having fun. Oh well. But I don't take it serious. And there's other people that fucking, if we're playing volleyball and we lose, it's like the worst thing in the world. And I'm like, and I think that's the little piece I'm missing to understand why people get so passionate about it, because I don't care enough to really be that passionate about something. So it's hard for me to understand why they care so much about something that's make believe. It is make believe. At the end of the day, video games are make believe.
I can see exactly what you're saying because it's true. Like, there's not that itch there that would excite you from like, sitting there and like rah rah. Because like, yeah, for example, my husband, he video games every now and then before when we really got married. It was like an every night thing to where it was fun though. Like I would get on the mic and start talking all this shit to like it's such a chaotic environment and it's so stressful. That's why I tell you, like for me, it was so stressful. But I would see this man get out of work, sit there and play, or like on a Saturday, if he wanted to spend all his Saturday playing, like he would have those days where he would just play all day.
Oh
Girl,
God.
Sunday morning was like glory to God. This man probably like lo bautizaron anoche in that war zone. And he woke up so relieved because like it's crazy, but it's so chaotic and it's so fun. But same for me, it stresses me out. I am competitive when it comes to games.
Mm.
So for me, it irks me that I can't shoot them. Like these gun games that they play are so precise almost, So like I can't keep up with them. So that's the reason why I don't play. But put on some Mario Kart, the Nintendo
I
64,
was
I'm there.
Girl, I was gonna say that I'm like, whenever I do end up playing, is the Nintendo 64 with my
Mhm.
siblings, and with I think we borrowed it from my brother Martin not that long ago, and Edgar and I were playing. We played 007. I'm not into guns or violence. I killed this man 7 times. Edgar, I killed him 7 times in under like 15 minutes. And he said, like, this is dumb. I don't remember playing this version. And I'm like, excuses, excuse. Like, he got mad. He literally got mad. And I'm like, ¿para eso quieres jugar? ¿Para llorar? I'm like, ¿para llorar? And I'm
He's me.
just
I'll
talking.
stand up and unplug it. No, I'm just kidding. If it's my husband, you're like, yeah, I'm not taking this.
Dude, and he was annoyed because I was posting it on Instagram. To me, it's just funny because if he would have been beating me, I know for a fact he would have been talking his shit, and I would. But the thing is, it wouldn't have gotten to me. I would have just been like, okay, well, obviously you're better. It's fine. Like, it's okay. But it's just an ego thing with people in video game. People that are competitive, it's an ego
Right.
thing. And
It
it's
is.
like, and if you're talking your shit, it puts them in a bad mood, and it's fucking, and like, I've seen videos, oh my God, of people punching their TV,
Yes.
throwing their controller, whatever it is, and just getting like really really mad. I mean, it's a whole world. I respect it. I'm like, cada quien, everybody with their whatever, niche.
Mhm.
But there's video game competitions, there's
Real.
scholarships. It's just it's something I will never understand, and I don't plan to, and it's just there, and I'm here, and we're just going to just live like that.
I love that. I have this funny story. I have a friend that we cannot play Monopoly together. And it's all fun and games because during the Monopoly game, once the board's open, oh, girl, don't even look at me. Don't talk to me. Like, we'll fight across the table. But after the game, back to our friends. And it's a male. So it's funny because it's a guy. But every time we play, like, his wife comes over and it's me and my husband, it's so chaotic. Like, to the point where, like, people, like, they probably think that we're about to fight, like, this guy and girl. But because we get so competitive into it, yeah, whoever wins, we talk our shit, the game's over, and yeah, we're back to our place. But
It's
during the game, girl, it's fire.
Monopoly is fun. I'm not as smart. No soy tan astuto as I should be. And I remember my cousins from California, Rogelio y Fernando, they were talking about playing Monopoly, and they're like, yeah, but Fer, one of them, he's like, Fernando can't be the bank. He's a cheater. He can't be the bank. And I'm like, you're a cheater too, bitch.
I'm always the bank.
Dude, I was like, Fernando, are you serious? Because he's the younger one, and mind you, they're all three of them, all four of them, them and their wives, they're all teachers, or they're in the education system
Okay.
somehow, right? Counselors, teachers, some in one way, shape, or form, they're educating the youth. They're the educators of America. And they were talking like, are you serious? Yeah, he fucking cheats. He's not allowed to be the bank. And I'm like, Fed, is that true? And he's like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I was like, oh my. I was like, that is the yep, that's the our kids' future right there. That's our kids' future,
Oh,
right?
this might be an internal banker code then for Monopoly that I'm kind of realizing then. So the banker code kind of slips that $100 every now and then.
Horrible. I mean, I do play games with Edgar. What we've been playing a lot lately with our couple friends or like our cousins and stuff is Cards Against Humanity. I don't know if you've played that
Yes,
before.
yes.
Cards Against Humanity. And again, I have never won. I've never won, but I have a lot of fun. But Edgar has won because he's dark. His humor is dark. And
That's Scorpio energy, girl. Every time you say little things about him, I'm like relatable.
I swear I do. It's like sometimes I'm like, I want to put that card down, but no, that's fucked up, you know? So and he'll be like, fucking send it. Boom. And I'm like, I already know immediately, like, that's your card. That's your card. So, like, I don't pick it on purpose, but I
Yeah,
only pick it if it's funny, if it's funny to me.
right.
But Edgar will pick the card if it's fucked up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Dark humor, like, mwah, kinda love it. We need to have a game night now.
we should, and he is so. But it's just so funny because with that game, for those of you who haven't played Cards Against Humanity, you guys, I definitely recommend it. It's a fun game for it's literally called a fun game for fucked up people, because like, but it's like like when we were teaching my cousins Sam and Andrea how to play, we literally told them like you'll end up realizing um how the person, like, their humor is gonna go. So for
Yes.
me, you will definitely get me to pick your card if you make it something sexual or dirty. I don't know why I'm like that. I'm sorry, mom. I'm sorry, dad. I'm sorry to my siblings and my cousins listening to this. But I'm just so like, to me, it's like if something becomes sexual or funny or has a double like innuendo,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, and because I'm fucking immature, right? And I'm like, this one's funny. And Edgar, if you make it political or you make it fucked up, that's gonna get him to pick your card because it's hilarious to him. That's the way to get him. And like my cousin Andrea, she is very sweet and she's an angel, and she was doing it like genuine. So her cards were like, if it said, I want to help starving children by, and like if you were to start a foundation, but I put, sucking 1,000 dicks, I would have chosen the card that said sucking 1,000 dicks because I think that's hilarious. She would have chosen the foundation because it's logical and it's sweet and
Right,
it's,
right.
like it's like, I remember Edgar had one similar to that, and it's like, if I were president of the United States, I would make and it was like, I would make the office of, and all of ours, like her, like mine and Sam were like fucked up, funny, like racism,
Yeah.
and hers was like, to help the homeless or something. And Edgar like immediately saw that card and was like, that one's out. And she was like, and in my head, I'm like, Andrea, because you're going logical, you're going to what you would choose. Edgar's
Yeah.
trying to find a fucked up one, like,
Dude, have you heard of that game, What the Meme? You pull out, like, a meme card.
Oh, I have heard of it. I've
That
never
game
played
is
it
so
though.
same thing with me, girl. I do the same thing. Like, I go for the most dark humor one. Like, for example, there's a picture of, let's say, that meme of that little boy, like, just screeching with his face back or doing something. And, people will send the cards like, oh, when my friend sends me a text and, it's funny and I can't laugh in public or this little thing. And then I will literally pick the card that's like the most darkest random humor that is like in a sex position in the middle of the night, your phone falls and, like, literally, like the most random shit. That's
Or
what I would pick.
yeah, or like where if it's like when you're you need to take a shit and you're losing the battle or something like that. Yeah, Edgar will pick something like that, and like shit like that.
Yeah. That's so funny, girl. That's
Oh
so
man, we definitely
definitely
do
need
need
a
to have a game night for sure.
for sure.
It
But can we please do it after you give birth? Because you already know, girl, it's gonna get intense allá con los escorpiones, and we don't want to disrupt Mama Bear.
yes, definitely after I give birth. You are competitive, right?
I am only in games when it comes to games, and it's a fun competitive. Like example, I was saying, me and my friend will fight. Like we will literally go head to head. And yeah, after we're completely fine. Like the game's closed, we're done. I won't take it after the game. Like put it against. But during the game, that's my fun of it. Like I like to be so competitive and like rousy and chaotic. I don't know. Like I just feel like it makes it fun, especially if it's those people that play that way. Of course, if I'm playing with a
Yeah.
group of people that just like to play the game, I'm not gonna be that crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. There's definitely times where I've been in situations where I'm like, I probably should tone it down or not be my full self, which is fine because you don't want to be that one person, or it's just not appropriate. But that's definitely a time where I'm like, well, if I have to kind of tone it down or watch what I say, or I can't really be my authentic self. You guys are just acquaintances. I don't really like fuck with you,
Yeah,
you, which is fine. Like
yeah.
I'll hang out with you guys again, but I don't really like fuck with you like that much because You know,
You want
I
to keep a lot
no,
obnoxious, yeah.
because I have to be kind of a watered down version of myself, or kind of have to be, you know. But if I
Yeah,
really don't have to watch what I say, and I can say jokes without telling you, like, I'm just kidding, by the way, because I'll say a lot of things, and people need to know. Like my people that like know me, they know I'm just kidding. I don't have to say I'm just kidding, you know. So that's when I can be more relaxed, and that's, you know, that's your group of people, that's your, you know, that's your tribe and stuff.
yeah,
So
that's so true. You know, for the retreat, I had nothing but people that were already clients of mine, which was
mm,
very bittersweet and beautiful because they know me, right? They know my dark
yes.
humor. Like little times I would say little things and I'm like, oh, imagine if I would have said this to someone that just found me on Instagram, had never had a session with me. They're like, yeah, we're gonna leave. Like this lady's "Ay, ya te quedó arriba," you know?
Speaking of that, let's get into that. You had your first ever retreat in January,
Did.
and congratulations on that. I know that was something you had been wanting to do for a long time. So how was that for you? And how, you know, are you? Can we expect more in the future? More opportunities for that?
Yeah, definitely more opportunities for retreats. Because yeah, it was the first one of the year and it went great, you know, within, and I only know this number 17 hours because someone literally commented to my story and they're like, Ruby, I'm seeing this 17 hours later and it's sold out. Like, what the heck, you
Oh
know?
my God!
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was also a sellout moment for me. There was 10 people that signed up, you know, every it sold out, I think like within less than a day. Yeah, less than
Mm,
24 hours. I had a wait list of people that were wanting to join. And luckily we were able to get two people from the wait list to join because last minute two canceled. But it was
yeah.
such a beautiful event from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with of course 1.5 hour lunch. And then you get like a 10-minute stretcher after every class because of course
Mm,
we're doing sound healing, we're doing yoga, we're meditating, we're doing Reiki. Like there's a lot of energy that's moving. So we also want to take time to like recoup and break. But it was so beautiful. The energy was amazing. And I do want to have another one. I'm thinking it's probably going to be in August and it may even be in Sedona. I think I want this next one to
oh.
be like somewhere else, somewhere more outdoor. I know Sedona has more homes that you can rent that are more like structured for a retreat. And I think
Mhm.
that would be nice because the place that I got also, it was a huge house. It was beautiful in Fountain Hills. And it had enough availability for like it was 10 people, 5 people here, 5 people on the other side, and then instructor in the middle, you know, giving the instructions. And everyone loved it. Everyone had like a deep, very beautiful inner experience. And like I always tell everyone, you know, you're going to these things for you. When you come to a sound healing to see me, you're essentially wanting to connect with yourself, right? You're wanting to heal whatever you know you have within you. I always remind people when you come and see me, I am the artist, right? You're coming to see me perform. I will not see, but feel me perform and play. But that's all I do, right? The energy, the inner healing happens within yourself. Of course, I am in tune. You know,
Mhm.
there's that antenna where sometimes messages may come in if it's an appropriate time for that. Sometimes I'll receive the message, sometimes the person will, but it's
Mm.
always about you. And that's always a reminder I like to give about my sessions. You know, the retreat. When I had the retreat, I told everyone from the beginning, like, hey, this is not going to be your standard retreat into where you can't have your phones. We're going to be in a school. You got to walk like this. You got to, you know, stay quiet. No, we're
Yeah.
all adults. We all go in to receive whatever we want, right? If you have
Mhm.
to be on your phone and text 24/7, answer to, I don't know, your kids, your jobs, whatever, that's okay. But I know there's other places to where it's like no phones, no
Yeah.
caffeine, no weed, no this and that. I mean, life doesn't have to be about all these rules. Again, going back to the weed thing, if the weed thing works for you, you know, do it. If it doesn't, don't. And I'll be very honest with you guys. You know, when I did the retreat, I sent a message to the group that week before and I said, hey, 24 hours before the retreat, let's not caffeine, let's not weed if you guys smoke weed, just to give everyone that more clearer space of mind, right? I was wanting to
Yeah.
stay with the books. That's when I kind of went back to myself and I'm like, no, I don't want to stay by the books because the books are not always right, right? I mean, we know that from school. The books are not
Yeah.
always right. So then I
Yeah.
told them, you know what? Sorry about that. You guys change up plans. If anyone wants to drink their caffeine the day before or the morning of, or smoke their weed the day of or the morning of, you go ahead and do it because who am I to say that that's not something that helps you or that it will
Mm.
alter your mind? Who the fuck am I to say that when I don't know how it's working for you? And so
Yeah.
sharing that with everyone and also like the whole there's no phone rules. Of course, respect everyone. That's it. Do your thing. Don't bother the or disrupt the people next to you. And there's no rules. And everyone was just so kind of like liberated. And I truly
Yeah.
felt the room kind of like, oh, things like there was even some people going out for their vape breaks, on lunch or stuff like that, like smoking their vape because it's something that helps them. But I really feel like that's one thing that will always be different about my sessions is that there is not going to be any rules because there's no rules to your book of life. You're the one that's managing the show, right? And sometimes maybe putting those rules can disconnect us from our true self. I don't know. Let's say
No.
that someone that smokes weed is truly smoking it because they have anxiety. And without
Mhm.
that, just like someone that has their Adderall pill and can't function without it, same thing as
Mhm.
someone that has their smoke stuff. They can't function without it. So it's very much like that. So I always want to give that opening welcoming of just it's never going to be your standard retreat or your standard session. Please don't have that social media expectation because it's going to be the complete opposite. And I truly believe that's the beauty of it. That's when you're able to be your true self.
Mhm.
I can't tell you what works or what doesn't. You do.
Yeah, no, I love that because there are retreats that will make you disconnect completely from, and I mean, you're more than welcome to, go there, and because they're after a specific goal or the
Mhm,
idea is surrounded by, something different or deeper, for everyone.
mhm,
For you, it's more about, like you said, it's the person connecting and the person doing all of the channeling the inner energy and stuff. And
mhm.
if you have to do that on caffeine because that's what makes you more relaxed and that's what works for you, then you don't want to be the one to get in the way of that, you know?
Exactly.
So, I love that. And I think that's definitely something that's going to set your retreats apart from all the other ones because you still allow people to be themselves, whatever that is. Um, I know Edgar and I had our sound bath session, and he was on his back, and then later told you like my back was hurting. So you said, well, next time just lay down whatever's comfortable for you. The whole point is for you to be comfortable, for you to be yourself, and then you can from there allow me to kind of go in there and work my magic or whatever. But if someone is too busy thinking about how they're jittery because they didn't drink their caffeine, or how or twitching, not twitching out a little bit, or like has the shakes because they haven't vaped, then that really
Mhm.
defeats the whole purpose of what you're working. So I really
Yes.
do like that. I'm excited for you and for the next retreat in August. Hopefully that's when I can make it to. The fact that it's in Sedona sounds amazing and beautiful. I really, really like Sedona. um I would suggest, and this is just obviously coming out of my ass, so you can take it or not take it, whatever you like, no hard feelings. But I would definitely recommend maybe doing quarterly ones, every 4 months,
Need that.
quarter, so every 3 months, quarterly and stuff, and kind of go off the seasons. I feel like that would be nice. It can always be like a good refresh. 2 times a month is great, but I feel like if you had such a great turnout and you were sold out so fast, maybe offer them a little, and they could be small ones here. But yeah,
I love
think
that.
I
Thank
think
you
it's
for that,
great.
girl. And
Mhm.
I love that so much. Like you said, the word seasons, because it's like we are like the seasons, right? We shed, the leaves fall, same thing happens within our body. So that's such a beautiful concept to like see it that way too. I love
Yeah, to
that.
do one for the spring, one for the summer, and then for the fall. I feel like that would just be beautiful, kind of shedding our out with the old, in with the new, kind of
Yeah,
type of.
I love
Mhm.
that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And that brings me up to
You're
this, what I was
welcome.
going to mention, for the month of February. So I met this beautiful young lady named Kenya. She owns the dance studio on 55th Avenue on Camelback. It's called
Mhm.
Connect Dance Studio. And it's just like your K-pop, hip hop, like any kind of dance classes
Mm.
they have there. My sister-in-law goes there. And so I kind of talked to the owner and asked if she would be interested in renting the studio for sound healing sessions, and she does
Oh,
open it for like other instructors or like just dancers or anything. So for the month of February, I'm going to be having two sound healing sessions there, and I'm hopefully wanting to continue it like that, one at the beginning of the month and one at the end of the month, so we can all have a chance to like at least monthly, regenerate
yeah.
ourselves. Yeah. So the
I
first
love that.
February 8th on a Thursday at 6:30. And then the last one, and I'll post this on my page as well, but the last
Mhm.
one's going to be on a Sunday morning, Sunday the 25th at 10:30 a.m. So I think I'm keeping that concept, beginning of the month and end of the month, so we can all
Yeah.
go in and experience something. And it's on the west side. There's I was telling the owner this, like there's not a lot of sound healing or sound healing events here on the west side. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful that she's given this opportunity to the community to come and do this. And she just opened a few months ago as well. So it's just amazing.
I mean, it works for both of you to get clientele to put your guys' business out there and stuff. So I love that. So there you have it, you guys. She's will be offering sound healing sessions at Connect Studio in the beginning of the month and the end of the month moving forward. I love that partnership, love that for you. I'm excited for that. All of her information, if you don't have it by now, you need to, because I mean, she's a regular now on Who Gave This Girl a Mic. But
We
of
are
course, it's
here.
right. It's always going to be linked in the description of this episode. And you know, February, the month of no retrograde. No planets are going to be on retrograde. Just be in the present and accept change as it comes. If you want to try something new, then I challenge you to book a sound bath session with Ruby for the
Yeah.
month of February. Do that for yourself. Es el mes del amor y la amistad. What greater love to show yourself than love, than self-love.
I love that. That inner self-love. That's so true. And Melissa, as always, I always just want to thank you because listeners, I mean, we all are aware of this, that if it wasn't Melissa who gave this girl a mic behind the mic, these conversations wouldn't be happening. So it's awesome. I know a lot of people love it, and I'm glad to be able to do it every single month. We have 10 more left. So just thank you. I know as part of myself and also other people that love the show, thank you for being the host and having us here. And not just me, the amazing other women in business works that you guys have going on and the other people you bring on. So just thank
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, you guys. Let's make this month a great one. If you're listening to this in the morning, enjoy the rest of your morning. Have a positive attitude. Kick ass today. If it's afternoon for you, you're halfway there, whether it's with work, whether it's during the day at Stay at Home Mom, you got this. And if it's nighttime, well, what a better way to end the day than with a podcast session with us and just a positive attitude throughout the night, to get a good night's sleep. Other than that, do not forget to rate, subscribe, and review, follow our profiles, and share for the love of God. Share the wealth.
you.
All that's left for me. Yeah, right. All that's left for me to say is you guys have a good night. Bye.
Bye.